You know that moment when you press record and then your computer fucking stops recording? Yeah, that. Anyway, hi internet. So today I wanted to talk about what it's like being the weird early 90s kid demographic of ages. Mainly in relations to technology. So I was born in 93, I forget my year of birth. I was born in 93, which makes me 21, turning 22 this year. Yay, I'm getting old. And it's that weird age demo where I remember not having internet. Remember what it was like to have internet? Yeah, I don't know, it's like I can relate, at least with the late 80s kids, they can be all like Friendster and stuff. I miss Friendster. But at the same point, I grew up with social media, but not like social media that the late 90s kids are growing up with. It's just that weird middle ground of internet that's weird. So occasionally it hits me how reliant we are on technology now, and how I wasn't, but how I kind of was. This is my favourite technology analogy for how fast technology is growing. So I got my first phone when I was 12, I think that was like 2004, no, 2005. That stuff happening. Like, the first phone I got was a Nokia 3315 and 3310. That's, I think, a lot of people's first phones that were around my age. It was just like a brick with black and white screen, and you could text and play Snake and make phone calls, and that's all you wanted to do, and you could go through credit real fast. In that year, we got cameras, we got coloured phones, weird shapes. The weird shapes really came out that year. They were on point. And you got the colours, because you already had colours with the old phones because you could just swap the cases, but these ones came out as a colour. You had the weird lipstick kind of shaped ones and ones that turned on their side, and so many different phones came out that year. It's kind of ridiculous. But just watching it go from, like, the phone went from the 3315 to like this size, and then all of a sudden it was back to big again, but it was colour. Like, I had a square phone. I could probably find it somewhere if I looked. I'm not going to look. There were just so many weird phones, a lot of them by Nokia. They came out that year, and I think the next year was when we really got all the sidekicks and everything like that. Every now and again, I'll sit there and I'll see like something with a sidekick and I'm like, oh, I still want a sidekick. Why? What could I possibly want with a sidekick? Oh, because I could like flip up the screen and type on a keyboard. Oh, look, I'm typing on a keyboard. Just turn it around, type it on a keyboard. Why do I need a sidekick? Just before, I was sitting there trying to craft a Snapchat. I wasn't really crafting it, it was a picture of me like this in front of my bookcase at my computer going, I need new ways to procrastinate. And I sat there going, how do I spell procrastinate? Okay, Google. Procrastinate. Google spelled it. And I do it every now and again. I'll be like sitting there and I'll be like typing away, and then I'll be like, oh, how do I spell that word? Either I press double F on my computer and dictate it, or I press F6 and dictate it and tell it to open things, or I go to Google and I tell Google to tell me what it is, or I just Google the definition and wait for something to spell check it for me. If I think, oh, am I getting the right meaning for that? I'll just Google it. And I sat there like, what did I do before Google and dictation? That's right, I had terrible spelling. Technically there was spell check, but like not when I was handwriting everything. And if I wanted to know something, there was a fucking dictionary, you know, it's called a dictionary. You'd have it and you'd open it and you'd be like, what does that word mean? You'd have a thesaurus. Everything wasn't just a Google click away. I should know this. I have Encyclopedia Britannica that I love. There are occasionally times where I'm like, oh, what did I do before the internet? I remember people are always like, oh, kids these days, all they do is sit inside and watch TV and play video games. And I'm like, dude, we had the PlayStation 2, the Nintendo 64, we had the NES too. We could have had, I didn't have like your Cube and all that shit. I had friends that did. There was the Xbox when that originally came out. And PCs! Oh my god, I played some of my PC games that I used to play. Hilarious. And super hard. And some of the N64 games and the PlayStation 2 games. But they were super fun. And you know what I did when I was younger and I had access to those things? And pay TV and the internet? I went outside and I played with my friends and I rode on bikes and I ran around like a fucking lunatic and was home by the time the lights came on in the street, because that's the time you had to be home. When we had mobiles, it was 5 o'clock, and it was awesome. And then I'd go home and play on the internet with my friends or chat to them on the internet and go on like Habbo Hotel and stuff, but it was also dial-up for a while there. So yeah, very technology advanced dial-up. Like, people would be like, oh, kids these days don't know the dial-up sound. I'm like, it's the sound of my childhood. I can't even make the noise. I remember like BearShare and LimeWire and all those shits. I remember when UQ or whatever is out. My parents, when I was younger, got into a fight because my mum got too into the internet and chat rooms apparently. I found that out a while ago and I was like, holy shit. I got addicted to Sims at like the age of 13 or something and loved it. I knew how to fill up printer cartridges, but I also knew how to run outside like a lunatic. Like, people are like, oh, kids these days, and I'm like, oh, parents these days. I have a huge thing against parents at the moment. Not my parents, I love my parents, but shitty parents. It started fully at Christmas, and there were these kids around us. They were jumping around, they were destroying things, they were being fucking feral. You know what the mum and dad were doing? Oh wait guys, take a picture. Okay, I'm gonna upload the stuff they say. Oh no, stop doing that, take a good picture. I'm not even kidding, so the kids were just being crazy and the parents were just on their phones. Like, people are like, oh, I hate team. I'm gonna make a rant on this because like, I'm hypersensitive to it now. The amount of fucking parents that are on their phone instead of rearing their children or taking care of their children or making sure their children don't run onto the fucking road is ridiculous. In other words, children, yes, they like technology and they like watching YouTube and playing fucking games on their parents' iPads and iPhones, but the child will put it down and go play imaginary. The parent doesn't know what to do then if the child doesn't have an electronic device in its hand, and usually the parent's standing there going, Johnny, don't do that. No, be nice to your sister. I'm telling everyone on Facebook how much I love you and how good of a kid you are. Stop that. I have people on Facebook that I have issues with because they're like, oh my god. Like, they'll have a 6-month-old and they'll write fucking large posts to their 6-month-old. Like, oh, I'm so proud of you, I love you so much. I'm like, how about you put down the phone, step away from the computer, walk to your child, pick it up and be like, oh my god, I love you so much. Let's make memories. Instead of me posting on Facebook, which is a social media site that will be dead by the time you can go on it, and let's just make memories. Maybe I'll record a video of us doing cute things together. No, I'm just gonna post on Facebook. This turned into a rant about parents and internet. In short, I'm in that weird demographic where I remember what it was like before the internet and calling friends on home phones and not being able to call someone because they were on their internet, and then you have to like dial up your internet so that you could talk to them on the internet, or like you want to talk to your friend on the internet but they're not there, so you have to get off the internet and call them on their home phone, then you find out they're not home. Or arranging, like, oh, let's meet up. Okay, we'll meet up at that place at 12 o'clock. I'll see you then. And being obligated to go. You couldn't turn around 5 minutes before and be like, oh, can't go. You couldn't. Like, now I can. Now, if I go out to see friends, I'm like, where are you? I'm gonna Snapchat you a picture of where I am. Where are you? Snapchat me a picture where you are. It's just weird. I'll watch Friends. Like, there's one episode of Friends where I think Ross is in England. I think it's Ross. And everyone else is back at the apartment and he's gone to see his girlfriend. But she's not there because she's gone to see him at the apartment in New York. And they're like communicating over the voicemail and the payphone. And I'm like, just use your mobile. What have I become? I remember emoticons, like emojis. No, emoticons are where it's at. Anyway, I'm gonna go, probably cut out lots of stuff about the parents because I want to rage on parents right now. Okay, bye.